course, every week. Thank you once again for joining us. Emeka Daniel is my name. And of course, I'm not alone. Right here with me is...
Femi Ojo is my name.
Absolutely.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Very well. How do you do?
Well, how do you do?
Great.
I'm okay. Thank you for joining us today. Again, I'm Femi Ojo, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you, for us to know that you are there, being part of this program. You know, your normal, everyday routine and breakfast program where we get to talk about everything important in this nation. And that is what we are set to do here again this morning, here where we say it as it is. Either you're watching us virtually, via our YouTube page at Western Spring TV, or you are following us on StarTimes DTT, channel 190. You are welcome. On the program, we look at different, headlines and different front pages of different papers. So we are going to do that, and it's after that that we then get talking a lot to talk about. It seems the last has not been heard about a disaster in Niger State, in which many bodies have been recovered, more than 152 as at yesterday, or 153.
This morning we hear up to 200 this morning.
100 still missing.
500 missing on one of the dailies this morning. 200
It's a sad situation, and we just hope people that have died can never be brought back. But we hope the ones that are still alive, those injured, those going through the pains right now, can have their pains assuaged, and the feelings and all of those things helped by everyone. This is everybody's business right now. Neighbors, people who are not affected, you find a way of housing those that are affected. One thing that I saw yesterday, I was following a report, is the human angle, the human part of this issue, in which sometimes we have to do better as a people. And the guys who are administering the interventions, the, NEMA and all of those guys, in a kind of way, what I saw is they are having difficult time identifying those that are really affected and those that are not affected. Because when we are sharing the aids, the blankets, the mattresses, the food items, the medications and all of those things, you get to have people from the other surroundings wants to be a part of that, because either they need it or they don't need it at that time. Everybody appears vulnerable right now. So wherever free things are being shared, you see others, and that's the case in Niger State in Mokwa, in which some of those people who are not directly affected are lining up, queuing up to be part of it as well.
But
so they said they had to work with the local leaders who can identify those issues.
That's what I was about to say.
But they can't get it 100%. That's just the thing. Why can't we be human enough to allow those that are affected to have their way? Why share in things that belongs to those people that are going through pains? This one now is not about the government. It's a people's property.
Yeah, it's about the people.
And we have to do that.
But again, we cannot separate government from the people, and that's where grassroots leadership comes in. Human beings will be human beings. Apart from the disaster, generally, Nigerians are suffering. That's the truth. That's the bitter truth. So whether or not those individuals were directly affected by the disaster or not, they still need help. So you can't really blame them.
But not that kind of help.
I know.
Daniel, let's speak truth this morning. There are some things you will not do.
Absolutely.
Not because you don't need it.
Yes.
But because you feel there are others who need it.
Yes, absolutely.
In this case, they are not sharing money. They are sharing relief blankets. Materials, they are sharing relief materials. They are sharing food stuff. Not because you don't need it, but you know enough. Not because you are buoyant enough, but you know enough. There are some people who need this thing more than you do. Absolutely. Not because you don't need them.
Absolutely.
That's what I say.
Yes.
So you can't blame a governor for that.
No, not governor. That's
directly.
That's why I said
policies of the people in government have a way of impacting the people, and maybe people are more poorer right now. I understand all of those things. But we know if something is affecting Agumbelewo here, in this our end here, and then people are coming from Old Garage to come and be part of it, that's share with
us. That's why I said that's where grassroots leadership comes in.
So this is not about government.
Not the governor, okay? So there are leaders at the grassroots. We have ward, we have councillors, of course, then we have local government chairman. So that's a function of the councillors, identify the people. And again, proper documentation. That's a documentation. When we have disasters, most times we don't even have proper documentation.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are struggling to know the number of people affected. Look at the crisis between Ifo and Ilobo. I kept asking questions. So how many people, even the government officials, don't even have the figures? Right on the show, I was asking, they don't know, because we do not have a system of, properly documenting, people, individuals, and having an accurate database of people and all that. So that's still part of their responsibility to make sure that everyone is well documented, such that whenever anything happens, it will be easy to know that, oh, such and such number of people are missing. Most times when we have disasters here in Nigeria, in some cases, we don't even know how many people are missing. Sometimes it's just the bodies they found that they'll say, oh, these are the dead ones.
Of course, because before the disaster, there is no proper database in which people, can be identified to say these. And, there have been many, when issues like this happen, there are many things that will never be told, that will never be found out. There are some persons that bodies will not be found, yet their people are missing. So they will never find closure. That's some of the, offshoot of disasters like this.
And that's even the most painful one.
The most, because you can't declare somebody you have not seen dead, and yet they are not returning back home. And these are some of the issues, because until you can find a body, that's where you can declare such a person dead. And, it's a lot. And I think there is a time that the money bags should do, the needful, not just because it's near elections, and people begin to come out as people who really care. Every help is needed at this time for those people.
Absolutely.
Actually, every help is needed, from politicians to neighbors who can just share possibly a bottle of water, because that is where the communal living comes in at this time. Just do whatever you can do. It's a lot. But that wasn't only the thing that happened yesterday. While the program was on air, the minister of the FCT was spewing, bars somewhere in Abuja. And he spoke on a lot of things.
A lot, and quite interesting. He's someone, is someone who speaks his mind. And he said it, he enjoys stepping on powerful toes. That's who he is. No holds bad with him whenever he speaks. So he said a lot of things. He challenged, last week, Chief Bode George, a PDP chieftain in Lagos, actually, accused Wike of sacrilege for supervising the sealing of the PDP secretariat in Abuja, saying he betrayed the party and all that. So, Wike, the FCT minister, fired back at him saying, Bode George, you are saying that PDP made me. Fine. Who has the PDP made in Lagos? So let's not look at the man now. Let's look at the message. And that's the honest truth. If you are claiming PDP made Wike,
you can never separate the man from the message.
No, this time, let's look at the message for now. Exactly. So sincerely,
the message is coming because
I really want Bode George to answer to that query. Who has the PDP made in Lagos since 1999? So if they are claiming the party made him, then why can't they make someone in Lagos?
I'm not sure it works that way. Well, is there
no, that's it. No, let's look at the facts.
I will not be.
No, we are journalists. No, we are journalists. Let's look at the facts. Okay, if the PDP is claiming they made Wike, just like Bode just said, the question is, who has the PDP made in Lagos? So he's saying that it is the people. Wike is saying that it is the people, the politicians, who actually do their work, should do their job to make the party popular. Just like he was helping the party to win elections in Rivers. Now, why can't the PDP make anybody in Lagos? And sincerely, I'm waiting for the response of the Bode George, because that's just the truth. Why can't they make someone in Lagos since 1999? Why can't the PDP make someone in Lagos? That's the big question.
Whatever salvos they are throwing at each other, it's okay for them. But I'd rather talk about what directly impacts the people and some of those things, But they just say whatever he's saying. They used to be good fellas before. I remember. But a judge was part of the people that aligned himself with the Integrity Group when it was time for, the 2023 presidential election. Atiku didn't but he didn't support Atiku Abubakar because he believes it was unfair as well. The southern-northern presidency thing, I think it's just whatever it is. And the PDP has never been really strong in Lagos, actually. They have never really held sway. It has been from AD to AC to ACN, now to APC. they have always played second fiddle in Lagos. That's a fact. You know, unlike places like Rivers, places like
Rivers, Delta, Akwa Ibom.
Delta, until recently.
Yeah.
You know, Akwa Ibom, until recently. You know, in fact, all of the South states, until recently, you know, these are some of those things that have been happening there, but things are changing. But now, who made you? Who made me? How has he helped the people?
Absolutely.
That's the issue. Yeah. Oh, the PDP made you in Rivers State. How has he helped the Rivers people? Oh, who has the PDP made in Lagos? How has he helped the people in Lagos State? These are some of the issues at this time. And it's not just about that, you know, that Wiki talked about. He spoke about Fubara as well. And, you know, I was thinking maybe a time will come in which Wiki will have a complete press conference without mentioning Fubara. Oh, by the way, you might say he's not the one mentioning Fubara. Journalists will have to ask him about what is happening in that state. And I saw one of the headlines where he said, or he was quoted to have said, that he weeps.
That Fubara made him cry.
Whenever he remembers whatever Fubara does to him. And you say, politicians. I think you have said it severally here. So don't let's always forget that. Don't take them too seriously.
Honestly. And again, apart from the politics.
When a Wiki will say Fubara made him cry. Yes, or Wiki.
Yes, or Wiki.
When you remember, you know, there's this one that say, when I remember something, water on our way.
Okay, the song we used to sing during NYC. Yeah, I remember. But again, Femi, on a more grievous note, a more serious note, away from the politics now, you talked about what truly affects the people.
Yes.
There is something happening in Nigeria, and it's so painful. I mean, last night, I almost couldn't sleep. Now, I wasn't affected directly, but I felt the pain. Okay, that pain, that real pain, as if I were affected by it. And it's the fact that people, innocent citizens of Nigeria, are being killed in Benue State, and no one is saying anything about it. Politicians are busy going about their politics. Nigerians are being slaughtered. What happened in Benue State recently, just a week ago, about 40 people, over 40 people were killed. Then on Sunday again, another 43 people were killed. One of the local government chairmen in the places affected, I think it's Gwere West local government, he said he's tired of talking about it. That he's really tired of talking to journalists. We keep saying the same thing over and over again. Innocent Nigerians being killed, being slaughtered like animals. And these leaders are not saying anything about it. All they care about is going about their politicking, their politics, scheming, you know, campaigning.
Endorsements.
Exactly, endorsement, just interested in re-election in 2027. Nigerians, innocent Nigerians are being killed every day in Benue State. Just recently, we have 43 killed on Sunday night and Monday morning again. And nothing is being said about it. I mean, it's worrisome. Why are the leaders not saying anything about it? Benue State is an APC state, of course. Governor Ayasin Talia is from APC, even though they still have their misunderstandings and all that, but it's still an APC state. So why are they not doing anything about it?
I saw Father earlier yesterday, the governor of the state, speak on some of these issues, and he looks, you know, like a dejected man. You know, at that particular, it was after a meeting, so when he emerged and people, journalists, pressmen were asking questions. But then the bigger picture is, and we run the risk of sounding like a broken record. Do politicians care?
That's the question.
Across party lines. This is not an APC, PDP thing, or Labour, whatever party, AC, LP. No. Do politicians really care? You know, whatever doesn't affect someone, sometimes it has a way of looking the other way. Because if actually you are directly involved, you know, and we don't have to get to the level that we are wishing evil on people in power. So that they can feel what the people are feeling. These are human lives being snuffed away. The thing is, we are not ready. If you want to ask me, we are not ready. Even the governor, in this matter, have you really seen that outburst? That's
my concern, exactly.
That feeling of, help me, something is going on here.
That's the problem.
From them. I forget that he's a reverend father. That is his personal faith. Now he is a people's representative. Yeah. So speak to that. At least something is going on in Borno State. Baba Gana Zulum is crying every time. Most of the time he's in those fields, seeing to what is happening. granting interview, speaking to security men. The question is, what is Father Ali?
Is it that we do not value lives of Nigerian citizens?
Obviously, yes.
Well, it's quite unfortunate. And again,
yes.
Apart from the politicians, in Benue State, where all the killings have been taking place, we have senior police officers, senior military officers with pot bellies and fat paychecks. No one has resigned. No one has been sacked. The question is, what is happening?
They won't resign. You know why? Because they are answerable to some people. Are those people talking? You expect the commissioner to resign. Why? He was put there. He was sent there. How about the IGP? The IGP is answerable to the president. What's the president saying? The IGP is answerable to the national. Everybody in Nigeria is answerable to the National Assembly. That's the constitution. Absolutely. You and I, private citizens, the highest office in the land, constitutionally speaking, is that of the president. He is answerable to the National Assembly. Everybody. Now, so what are the National Assembly members saying? If you're endorsing Mr. President...
They are busy. We have a National Assembly that is busy shamelessly singing on your mandates.
Endorsing.
On the floor of
everybody is endorsing. If you want Mr. President to be the APC candidate and be the sole candidate in Nigeria, say aye. Mr. Speaker comes and he say, oh, I endorse it. The Governors Forum chairman, that's Hope Uzodinma, comes and says I endorse it. And everybody is endorsing. And we are saying we don't care. The policeman will not resign.
Innocent Nigerians are dying every day. No one is saying anything. I felt real pain. Yes, I just began, because I went through the accounts. Some of the accounts are very, harrowing accounts. And some of the people had to jump inside wells just to escape being killed.
And then they end up dying, dead as well.
Just imagine that.
Before we round these off, the thing is, I might sound unpopular. We, the people, we are enablers of whatever the politicians do to us. This same shout that we are shouting here, when it's time to make decisions and other people shouting, people will know those who don't care for them. But because the politicians in Nigeria, because we are speaking about Nigeria now, across party lines, have mastered the art of throwing crumbs.
Weaponization of poverty.
They first make you poor by the poverty. You know, there is a syndrome and it's a strategy. Then they throw crumbs at you and you people are scampering. Oh, this is mine. And then they tell you that we love you. You see that we love you. Those people that are saying I don't love you is because they are not of a tribe. They are not of a language. Or it's because he's of a person of another religion. And then the people are bamboozled and they come again. The same whip the people that we are shouting and we are saying things are not fine, things are not good. The politicians come again. We vote the same set of people into power. Well, the same thing is arranged, is repeated, the cycle continues. And when the president was summoned, I remember that Buhari, by the National Assembly, and people are saying, no, he must attend. You see people say, is he the one that will carry gun? You know, when the things were very bad in this same Benue and Plateau, that the president then, Buhari, sent the IGP there only for him after months to go there, and the people told him that the IGP appeared only on a day. They told him that he didn't even sleep in Benue. He slept in Nasarawa. And the president then, Muhammadu Buhari, said, I didn't know. I'm not aware. You won't be aware.
Well, but I'm afraid one day Nigerians will rise up.
Well,
that's the problem. You know, sometimes they say we can't talk about this, but that's the reality. Nigerians are suffering. Nigerians are dying every day. Politicians are taking Nigerians for granted. And you say people should not talk about revolution.
My brother.
One day, we don't even have to talk about it.
My brother.
One day, Nigerians will get fed up and they will fight back. That's just the truth.
The thing is, as we round it off on this point, when Nigerians are ready, they know what to do. Through legal means, they know what to do. Through the instrumentality of the Constitution, they know what to do. Decisions are made every 4 years, and Nigerians ready. We take this quick break. We'll be back. Stay with us. All right, the Tribune is our first point of call, weaponization of poverty. So accurate at this time, as we ended on that point, actually. Nigerian Tribune has these on its front page, boldly written, weaponization of poverty, APC tackles Atiku. Amechi El-Rufai says trial united by desperation and silent on 80 years of Buhari administration. All right. And Air Force airstrikes kill 20 terrorists in Zamfara. Let's go, guys. And courts short lawyers, litigants stranded as judiciary workers begin strike. Here we go again. North must support Southwest in 2027 to complete 8 years in power. Shehu Sani. And assault on vice principal. Ondo police arrest parent for others. Very unfortunate situation that we heard that a particular school was attacked, and some principal officers of those schools were attacked because they wouldn't allow one of the students to go ahead to cheat, actually. And the said parents and came with some hoodlums and they descended on the staff members. That is where we are. But it's good that the police have arrested those criminals and hoodlums. By the way, by law, we call them suspected criminals. All right.
These ones are no longer suspected.
All right. Now, grand rent. I derive joy in stepping on toes of powerful people. Wiki and suspected herders kill 43 in Benue communities. Let's put it in the right context. 43 lives have been snuffed off and out by criminals in Benue communities. That will be all from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune.
From the Nigerian Tribune, we move to the front page of The Nation newspaper this morning. Just a few stories right here. So I'll just take just the headers, at the top strip. Wike, my take on PDP 2027 elections. Amechi Ubara, my take on PDP 2027 elections. Amechi Ubara. That's according to Wike right there. You might want to find out details of his take on those issues. Away from that, police, CBN, Abuja's agency, others, OFCT ground rent. Police, CBN, Abuja's agency, others, OFCT ground rent. You can read up that story on page 5 of The Nation newspaper. Herders kill 33 in Benue. Court fines rather, El Rufai 900 million naira for illegally detaining Kajuru leaders. Court fines El Rufai 900 million naira for illegally detaining Kajuru leaders. You find the story on page 5. And just below that, we have Mokwa flood death toll hits 200. Mokwa flood death toll hits 200. Quite an unfortunate one right there. About 200 people dead, reportedly killed by the floods. And of course, we have another report which says about 500 missing. You find the stories on page 5 and page 6 of The Nation newspaper this morning. And that'll be all from the front page of The Nation newspaper this morning.
All right, from The Nation newspaper, let's see what the Punch has for us. The Punch newspaper. 2027, Wike's Tinubu endorsement sparks opposition firestorm. 2027, Wike's Tinubu endorsement sparks opposition firestorm. With riders, PDP bigwigs, opposition parties split over ministers' stands. And Bode George, Amechi Camp, others vow to fight Wike. Interesting. 2027, Wike's Tinubu endorsement sparks opposition firestorm. The thing is, what does this so-called opposition expect him to do? Who do they expect him to support?
I wonder.
He's working in a Tinubu government. Will he be supporting people from his supposed party?
There's another thing that even caught my attention, because at the celebration of Amechi's 60th birthday in Abuja over the weekend, where of course Atiku was there, El Rufai was there, even Professor Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka was there. So a lot of things were said. In that meeting, Amechi said that he is actually hungry. That he is hungry like every other Nigerian, that poverty has been weaponized. They talked about weaponization of poverty in Nigeria. So Wike responded and said, Amechi's hunger is not of food, that he's hungry for power.
Well,
that his hunger has nothing to do with food.
I think politicians should just, you know, sometimes cut Nigerians some slack. Amici is hungry. A former speaker of the House of Assembly.
Rivers State House of
Assembly. Rivers House of Assembly.
Two-time governor. Minister of Transportation.
Minister of Transportation under Buhari. All of a sudden, in less than 2 years, he's hungry.
I'm surprised. And this person, I was actually
Obviously
also surprised. Yeah, I was surprised about Wole Soyinka's commendation. He said he wasn't in Nigeria during the primaries. He was watching live from Abu Dhabi. So he actually commended Amechi for standing up to Tinubu. Because a lot of people just, you know, they just gave in, they conceded, they supported Tinubu. It was Amechi who said no, he was going to stand. And just look at the primaries. Tinubu polling about 1,271 votes to Amechi polling about 310
You made it to sound like
votes.
even anybody standing up to Tinubu is based on principle and is because, oh, yeah, I really mean it.
But even the APC primaries, we knew what was happening. I mean, dollars, flying everywhere. So it actually, Nigerians will say it went to the
other
bidder.
People that didn't get votes, was it because they didn't spend or because they were overspent?
Aha, now you get
let's focus on something that's
now
important.
Now you are getting it. They couldn't outspend somebody.
All right, federal government estimates 880 billion naira yearly for road maintenance. FG estimates 880 billion naira yearly for road maintenance. And IATA, that's IATA, decries high airlines operating cost in Nigeria and others. And, you know, you have the picture of what happened at the MasterCard UEFA Finals live viewing in Lagos. And you can see former Super Eagles captain there, Joseph Yobo, in company of other people. By the way, that match between Inter Milan and Paris Saint-Germain ended 5-0, the highest scoreline in the history of the UEFA Champions League. That's the highest margin of a team winning over the other 5-0, quite a flattering one. Yeah, I'm sure the bookmakers will get it wrong.
I hope the match wasn't fixed. Now, some people will say...
you don't have to Nigerianize everything.
Of course.
All right, but you know, it was a showdown. It was supposed to be a showdown, but it was a walkover for Paris Saint-Germain.
Whitewashing.
On that day. We've had blackwashing because Inter failed to show up. And many persons were disappointed in them, not because they couldn't have lost, but it was a no-show for them. And Paris Saint-Germain, with one certain Vitinha, ran riot, you know, on that particular day. No, moving on. Boko Haram, fueled by political elite to destabilize Tinubu, Kalu. I want to know when they discovered that
now they are making excuses. That's just excuses.
Boko Haram, fueled by political elite to destabilize Tinubu. My question, and the question many Nigerians is, in as much Mr. Kalu, like any of the political supporters of the president and any politician knows, this political elite, why not go for them? It's easy. You know the people that is causing problem for you, then you attack the source. It's as simple. But when they bandy out, the same thing happened with Buhari, 8 years. The same thing happened to Jonathan. Oh, it was because some people wanted him out. The same narrative is still happening.
But again, it has never been this bad. That's just the truth.
All right. And 3 Nigerians back 15 years jail for fraud in India. That's, you know, an abroad kind of jail. 3 Nigerians back 15 years jail for fraud in India. All right. And Lagos APC LP in turmoil as PDP eyes local government poll upset. All right, the LG poll will be going down in Lagos. And presidency moves to settle 2 trillion naira power debt. Presidency moves to settle 2 trillion naira power debt. And reps grill WAEC chiefs over exam disruptions. So much for grilling. Judiciary workers strike grounds court. This is another thing.
They've actually called on him to resign, talking about the WAEC registrar of Nigeria. The reps are actually asking him to resign for conducting midnight exams in Nigeria.
Who should resign? The Nigerian office?
WAEC registrar.
Okay, yeah. In Nigeria?
Yes, in Nigeria. So the reps are asking him to resign for conducting midnight exams. It's not excusable. Okay,
all right. And 7 states, what happened to Oloyede then?
Oh, They didn't ask him. You know, I personally, I was screaming it that he should resign. The Minister of Education should resign.
Somebody conducted a night exam. The other one conducted exam with everything that was given at his disposal. and ended up failing, at least to some percentage, but then because he admitted
that jam
cried.
was a mess. Can you imagine a student in Anambra State, another Mason who actually scored 160, some I think about 165 in the botched exam, the one that had glitches, and she rewrote the exam and scored 343. So which one, in fact, when I saw, I was just laughing. I mean, what's happening?
Oloyede is good, but the other white registrar,
you know, we have institutions. Several other institutions actually came out backing Oloyede. Apart from that Yinori stuff, I saw another institution.
Yeah, other, you know, so much for comradeship. Yeah. One brother.
Celebrating mediocrity.
Judiciary workers strike grants court. And, you know, when this kind of situations happen, especially this judiciary problem, do you know many persons' lives are put on hold? There are people that are in jail, that their cases supposed to be heard, but that means they will be left there. There are people that have dispute that needs to be settled. There are people that need something, documents that needs court processes, and all these things are grounded. And whenever these issues are resolved, life goes on like nothing happens. And it's just as easy as that. And the thing is, some of these things are avoidable. You know, you see that this is going to happen, and everybody will wait till it happens. And then after, somebody will come around, float with a barriga, and speak some English, and people will praise, especially when it's about money and all of those things. Lastly, from the Punch, 7 states spend 190% of revenue on loan repayment. 7 states spend 190% of revenue on loan repayment. And, you know, the picture of the Governors Forum chairman is there, Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak of Kwara State. So if 7 states rather, are spending 190% of their revenue on loan repayment, that means if they are paying loan, that means they are getting some loans to repay another loans, because you can't spend 190% of what you are making. That means you are spending what you are not making.
Exactly.
That'll be all from the Punch.
All right. From the Punch newspaper, I move straight to the front page of Daily Trust, and we'll be taking just the headline, the banner headline, screaming out right there from the Daily Trust newspaper. Mokwa flood. Death toll hits 200. Over 500 missing. Mokwa flood. Death toll hits 200. Over 500 missing. Still talking about the flood in Niger State. Quite an unfortunate, I mean, so many lives lost. 200 dead, 500 missing. How come? How did we get here? How did we get to this point? It all boils down to how seriously we take the lives of Nigerian citizens. And that's talking about leadership, not putting the right things in place, not making strategic decisions to make sure that the people are protected. That'll be all from the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And that also brings us to the conclusion of the newspaper review segment of the show today. We'll take a short break. When we return, we dive into the conversation of the day. Please stay with us.